Hello there, it's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee. Okay, so we've got this man's t-shirt that was left over from another make, and we literally nicked the cloth off it. But because we have it and because we can, I'm going to reduce this down into a sort of ballet shrug. So what I've done is I've picked it up halfway between the neckline and the front. Now I need to get rid of just an awful lot of this material. So I'm not going to lose any of the height, but I am literally going to cut a curve around here. So that's that done. And what I'm left with is an arm and a sort of curve round the front. So I'm now going to cut the neckline out because I don't need it. It's quite, well, it's quite masculine. And I'm going to redo the neckline. Now I don't want to lose any of the previous serging stitches. I don't want to have to redo those. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of working around that. Now it's huge really, so we're just going to take a pick up again so that I've got my stitches joined up, and I'm going to mark this with a pin. There we go. Now I'm going to sew along this line, and it can be anywhere, and then get rid of the excess. Okay, and the same with the sleeves. Now they're this big, and really I need them to be sort of this big. So just make sure it's lying flat. It's very important. I know it is a bit of a pain. So if I take my pin and I mark the line that I want to sew, and I do it matching, so I've got to turn this one inside out as well. Then that's grand. Lining them up like that so I can just line up these pins. Now very simply, I have my sewing machine set up on a forward stitch. And I'm literally just going to join up those pins. Now, you may have heard people saying that this sort of fabric is very forgiving, and it is. So, you know, we don't really need to adjust it too much because the fabric will, over time, naturally sort of shape itself to it. And we don't need to worry too much if we've got a pucker in the stitch, because it's not really on a stretchy part of the garment, and the fabric will forgive you. So I've done that line. I'll do this line. Go. So not too hard at all. And of course I'll do the back and I'll do the other sleeves. So now I'm going to take my pinking shears and I'm literally going to trim off the excess. Now, t-shirt doesn't fray, it sort of curls and looks really tatty. So, you know, it's kind of, blokes can't get away with unhemmed t-shirts, but girls can. So we're just going to do that. Very, very simple. Now, rather than trying to take up the bottom or take up the top, I've decided to take up the pair. So, but that is personal choice. Now, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to choose a place. I have here probably a 2-inch fold of also stretchy fabric, also t-shirt fabric, and I'm going to follow this line round. So round the back of the neck, round the front of the garment, and then round the back of the garment. And I'm going to do it in all one long piece. Just because I can, it makes it slightly easier. If you are going to join 2 of these strips together, then do it on the diagonal, just looks better. And then you sew them together and then you carry on. So I'm going to fold this on the outside, and I've already decided that I'm going to do it halfway along the back. So I've got to be careful because I've still got pins in it. And yeah, it's just, if you do it exactly halfway, then it looks really obvious. But if you do it just off to the side, so the garment, the t-shirt, is inside out, so I can see the seam here, and I'm literally folding this twist of fabric as I sew, and it's coming down the front, and every so often I'm checking to make sure that the t-shirt hasn't rolled up. It's just going over the seam now. And then I'm just following it round, curving it round the corners. I don't need to worry about excess on the corners or anything. I just need to do one long stitch, and as this both are t-shirt materials, then both are stretchy. So that's the sewing I've got to catch up on. I'm going to sew the back and I'm going to sew the arms, and then I'll be right, and I'm going to continue sewing this round. So what we're left with is a fabric that we can fold over nice and easily. Okay. Hi, so welcome back. Okay, so this is what we're left with. We've got our crimp sleeves and we've got our binding rounds all round the outside. And it wasn't long enough, I couldn't believe that. Anyway, such is life, I had to extend it. Okay, so what we've got here is a sewing machine. Now, this sewing machine has a stitch on it, which is like 3 little parallel lines. Now, this means that we can use a twin needle. Now, you buy these twin needles separately, and yeah, you just plug them in, and then you plug one line of thread, and then you plug the other. And it is best to do them separately because they mat up less. Okay. Now, if you don't have that sort of machine, then I do recommend that you go round this twice, just so that it sort of lies flat. But because we've got this double needle, we're going to whiz round, and it's not very fast, I'm afraid, because it sort of stitches and then goes back with this double needle. So I've got the machine set up on a normal stitch, and I've got my settings on there, and we are ready to go. Okay, so I'm doing the horrible bit first, and I'm going over the curve of the binding. So that's it. I just get that back on there because I snatched it slightly. I know. Now, what I'm doing with this binding is I'm giving myself, there's like a little bit of black that I can see. And what this means is that it's level all the way around. Now you can see that the machine is sort of going backwards and forwards, and it's going to take me a lot longer, but it does mean that I've got 2 parallel rows because my 2 needles are parallel. There's no 2 ways about it. And okay, I probably should have started on a flat bit, shouldn't I? And then I could have got some speed up. So I'm just easing the actual binding round the curve, and it sort of springs out and springs back into place. And I've just got to make sure that I tuck everything in. I don't want the loose ends of the t-shirt or of the binding to show through. And it is just a sealing of the edge. I know, I don't really know how much to show you of this because I'm going to be a long time. So yes, if you were just doing it on a normal machine, you'd just fold it over. So, you know, keep an eye on it. Quite like the idea of just having a bit poking through. Make sure everything's tucked in. On a normal machine, because I'd be going at just a wee bit faster, then what I do is I have a pin to hand, and I can just literally tuck, 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 tuck. So yes, all is good. Anyway, thank you for watching. I don't like to leave a garment half finished, but it's going to be really boring if I make you watch me go all the way round, because it's such a slow process. But it's really good to do, really fun. It's nice to try new things on your machine, and yeah, this definitely is it. Alright, thank you ever so much. Oh, you can see the difference at the back. It's kind of, yeah. So, interesting. Alright, thank you ever so much for watching. My name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee. Hello, welcome back. So I'm just coming up to the end now. Now I have changed machines. It was more to do with the needle being blunt and the machine needing a service than it was to do with the actual double needle. Let's just try this on. I do need to do all the finishing, so because we know how much we love that. Got to be careful not to put it on upside down, you see. Or inside out, in fact. Oh, I'm failing dismally. Okay, so there we are. We've got a little shrug, suitable just for the evening, and remove that. And it would fold up very easily just to put in your handbag. I haven't thought about a clasp. I have seen ones that are sort of rectangle shape, and I was thinking about something like that, something quite fancy. And but I haven't done it yet, haven't looked. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. My name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee. See you again.